politics, culture, chaos. This is your daily dose of sanity. The Rich Zeoli podcast starts now.
And it's over for Gavin Newsom, and it's over for AOC after their disastrous European vacation. But Obama has given the kiss of death. Let's talk about it. Here we go.
Let's go.
Let's understand, for all the cries about democracy, the Democrat Party is the least democratic party in the country. There's no democracy involved. The grassroots doesn't pick their nominee. They haven't picked a nominee since 2008. That's right. And that person was Barack Obama. Every single nominee since has been chosen by the establishment, by the superdelegates, people like Barack Obama. Joe Biden wanted to run in 2016. They told him no. They said Hillary Clinton has to run. Then in 2020, Bernie Sanders again. Because Bernie in 2016 would have got the nomination, but they had to stop him, and they did. In 2020, same thing. Bernie would have got the nomination. They were like, nope, Joe Biden's got to be him. It's got to be Biden. He's the only one that can beat Trump. So we'll put him in there, and they all dropped out at the same time, starting with Pete Buttigieg, and then it was a domino effect, except they kept in America's mother-in-law, Elizabeth Warren, to make sure that she would undercut Bernie's socialist base, and ultimately Biden wins. Kamala Harris, same thing. Wasn't an open convention. There was no choice to be made. They had a vote, but it was a fugazi vote. The choice was decided. It was Kamala Harris. The Democrat Party is the least Democratic party in the country. Now, the Republican Party is very different. It's an open process. And you saw this play out in 2016, where the party establishment tried their best to stop Donald Trump. They couldn't because they don't have superdelegates. They don't have the same operating system that the Democrat Party does. The Democrat Party literally has the ability to control who gets the nomination. They control the convention. They control every aspect of it. So you could be the grassroots darling like AOC. It doesn't matter. If the establishment doesn't want you, they'll find a way to stop you, just like they did with Bernie in 2016. If you had just left everything alone in 2016, it would have been Donald Trump versus Bernie Sanders. And it would have been a battle over populism, one who's a socialist and the other one who's a capitalist. And that would have been the battle. And that would have been the battleground there over an economic philosophy, although they have many similarities in terms of tariffs, in terms of keeping American jobs coming back to the United States of America, and in terms of using government policy, but vastly different overall in their approach because Bernie's an all-out socialist. But there's no question in my mind about it. It would have been those two on the stage. But the Democrat establishment was never going to let that happen. They're always about control. They want to control who their nominee is because the Democrat Party wants to make sure that person is pro-war. And they got a pro-war candidate in 2008 with Barack Obama. They got a pro-war candidate in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. And they got one with Joe Biden. And that's why the Ukraine war broke out. And the military-industrial complex was able to eat to the tune of $200 billion and counting. But they never wanted Donald Trump, and they were always going to stop him. And the same thing goes in 2028, whoever that nominee is. Now, the conventional wisdom is that it should be Gavin Newsom. He's got the hair. He's got the looks. He's got that charm. Vanity Fair writes a puff piece about him. Let's get this out of the way right away. He's handsome. He's got the hair. He's got the charming children. He's got the beautiful wife. But he also has the disastrous record, something that the Vanity Fair piece did not mention. Now, if you were actually dealing with surviving scrutiny of candidates, that is, that you were going to look into their record of the LA wildfires, for example, the California absolute economic devastation, his handling of that bugaloo of a high-speed rail to nowhere, all those things. You're going to look into that. And the homeless situation, you would realize this guy is a failure. Now, puff pieces like Vanity Fair are not going to do that. They're going to talk about his beautiful looks and his charm. But if he's the nominee, it's unavoidable. His record comes out. All of Gavin Newsom's record is fair game. And in a general election, whoever the Republican nominee is, in a year that Democrats would want to play offense, are going to put Gavin Newsom on defense if he's the nominee. So here's what I think is going on. Barack Obama goes on a podcast. Now, most of the attention is focused on the fact that he thinks that aliens are real. Now, he's qualified that by saying he's seen no evidence that they're real. He just thinks that they're real. All right, so he's kind of qualifying that just a little bit. But what should be getting the most attention is the fact that he trashed California's homeless policy. This is all Gavin Newsom, both as mayor of San Francisco and as governor of the state. That's what Obama's saying here.
The same would be true, let's say, here in Los Angeles around the homeless issue. I think morally, ethically speaking, it is an atrocity that in a country this wealthy, we have people just on the streets. And we should have we should insist on policies that recognize their full humanity, people who are houseless, and be able to provide them the help and resources that they need. But we should also recognize that the average person, doesn't want to have to navigate around a tent city in the middle of downtown, and that we're not going to be able to build a working majority and support for the resources that we need to help folks like that, whether it's drug treatment or temporary housing or what have you. We're not going to be able to generate support for it if we simply say, you know what, it's not their fault, and so they should be able to do whatever they want, because that's a losing political strategy.
Okay. The losing political strategy is nominating a governor with a horrible record. Look, if you're a senator, you vote on something that's controversial, you could explain that away. Well, it was part of an omnibus bill. I had to vote on it, or this. You could explain a vote. What you can't explain is 2 decades of failure as governor, plus your elitism, plus the fact that you went to the French Laundry restaurant when everybody else was stuck at home. You violated your own COVID policies. I mean, all those other things. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what's disastrous is the record. That's what Obama is saying there. In my opinion, he's saying it can't be this guy. Barack Obama is saying it can't be Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom can't be the guy, bottom line. Now, Gavin Newsom's smug elitism, in my opinion, I don't think he's that electable. But I think the Democrat Party, up until Barack Obama opened his mouth, was thinking he's the likely choice. He's smart, he's charismatic, he's got the hair, he's got the wife, he's got the kids, he's blah, 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 he's a celebrity, all blah, blah, blah. And then Obama opens his mouth. The ultimate superdelegate, the ultimate party guy, and the guy who got Joe Biden out of the race. Let's not forget something here. Had it not been for Barack Obama, Joe Biden would probably have been the nominee. That's right. You remember the Obama pod bros, the Pod Save America bros, were the ones that wrote that letter essentially threatening Joe Biden. Like, get out of the race or we're going to destroy your legacy. You could be a hero and get out, or we can let everybody know what a corrupt SOB you really are. Because Barack Obama always knew about Joe Biden and Ukraine. He had to. He was the president. This was all happening in his White House. He gave Biden the Ukraine portfolio. Biden blackmailed Ukraine by saying, you fire the prosecutor investigating my son's company, or I'm taking my $1 billion and going home. All those things. So ultimately, it was when Barack Obama decided, after that fundraiser with George Clooney and all the checks cleared, this guy's got to go, that Biden went. But it was only then. Remember that. That's what happened. That was the event. That was the singular event that changed everything. This guy has more power in the Democrat Party than anybody else. He certainly has more power than the vampiric one, Nancy Pelosi. Now, she's got power, but not as much as Barack Obama. That's very obvious. That's very evident. She's behind Gavin Newsom. She's made it abundantly clear on a recent podcast that she did. Take a listen.
Close friend and governor and fellow San Franciscan Gavin Newsom was here a few minutes ago.
Was he?
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Do you think he'd make a good president, Gavin?
Yes, I think he'd make a great president. I think we also have a great bench. Yeah. We have a lot of good candidates. And what you'll see now is when we're getting out there to do 3 things. 1, to win the House, which we will. 2, to protect the election, to give everybody confidence that we will win the House.
Yeah. Are you worried about that, by the way?
I don't worry. We act.
Yeah.
We don't agonize.
Trump's gonna intervene
We
on
don't
this.
agonize. We organize. And the third thing is to tell them how different things will be when Hakeem has that gavel.
Okay. So she's with Gavin, but she's also like, but we have a bench. I like him, but we have a bench. So she's also qualifying that opinion as well. She likes Gavin Newsom. She's got to be with Gavin Newsom. She hates Kamala Harris, hates her. So she's got to be there, and she's going to say those things. But remember, she also gives herself an out by saying, we've got a bench. Now, Newsom is now going out there and saying that he thinks Trump is going to run for a third term. He also said in Europe, if you remember, that Trump is temporary. He told Europe when he was in Munich that Trump's temporary, he's going to be gone, don't worry about it. But now he's back to telling everybody that Trump's never going to leave and he's going to be there forever. And to prove this, it's all the hats that he has.
I don't think Donald Trump wants another election. You think for a second I have 24 Trump 2028 hats.
Oh.
His folks keep sending me.
And you think he's going to run again?
No, don't give me. Who spends $200 million on a ballroom at their home and then leaves the house? This is serious, guys. This is serious.
So it'll be Newsom Trump in 28.
No. There's no.
Guys,
this guy doesn't believe in free, fair elections. He
are there
tried to
women
wreck
in the
this
audience?
country.
Sexist pig?
Were you there, January 6th? I think Fox
High
was.
Holy
At
Day
least
of the
they were in
Left.
a lawsuit. They seem to have lost any memory of that. Shareholders didn't. I mean, he tried to light democracy on fire. He dialed for 11, almost 12,000 votes. Now he's doing it in plain sight. And people say, oh, just Trump being Trump.
You know, there is a clause in the Constitution that even though the 25th Amendment forbids presidents from running for a third term, if they have enough hats, if they make enough merch.
The merch
That
clause.
is the merch. Yes.
I always forget.
Jared, this is why you have to read the Constitution. There is a little known merch clause in the 25th Amendment, very, very small fine print. No president can run for more than 2 terms unless they have merch.
Unless the merch is good. Good merch.
It's and plentiful.
Obviously. Yes.
Good and plentiful. Anybody can have merch, Jared, but it's got to be good and plentiful merch. Like one hat does not make a third term.
24 hats.
Thank you.
There
24 high quality hats that are not made in China.
Can I ask on the Pelosi clip? Can you I can't imagine going to a breakfast where the former speaker is speaking and like the clanking of dishes, like no one has everyone is like not paying attention to listen to that background noise.
Close friend and governor and fellow San Franciscan Gavin Newsom was here a few minutes ago.
Was he?
Yeah.
Isn't it great?
Do you think that he'd make a good president, Gavin?
Yes, I think he'd make a great president. I think we also have a great bench.
Like, what is going on in the background? What are these people doing?
They're having breakfast.
Like,
they don't care what you have to say.
They show up at a diner. They're at some like South Jersey diner, and they're like, we'll just do a little Politico thing over here.
Hey, and we get some pork roll over here, eh?
Is that Taylor ham or pork roll?
Yeah. Let's get some scrapple and some pork roll over here. Would it kill you? Give me a fresh cup of coffee. I'm waiting hours over here.
I'm over here. She's up there. Yeah, she's blah 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 up there. I'm over like get the eggs.
And give me the extra syrup for the French toast. I'm sorry, sir. That's Nancy Pelosi's blood. That's a private collection that she will be drinking upon the conclusion of the breakfast. So, you know how that goes. But no, that's the thing. I mean, she doesn't have the pull that Newsom has. And Newsom, who was saying that Trump is temporary, not going to be there forever. Now he's never going to give up the office again. We're back to this running for a third term crap that he's talking about. He's not the guy. So who is? Well, I think in the spirit of Robert Duvall, of course, passed away Sunday at 95 years old, I think we have to quote Michael Corleone from Godfather Part 3, or Godfather 3 Coda, as Francis Ford Coppola would aptly rename it. Not the best of the three, certainly not, but still, as a standalone movie, it's quite actually a really good movie. If you just were to not include it as part of the Godfather trilogy, just leave it on its own. But
if you were to take out all context, it's a good movie.
No. As a standalone mob movie,
no, you can't.
Good.
If you had just been born that year and didn't know that they existed, it's a good movie.
Right. A lot of qualifiers. And then it gets creepy with Andy Garcia and the whole cousin thing with Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, Sophia. But I digress. The point is that Michael Corleone, at one point in the movie, says, our true enemy has not yet been revealed. The true Democrat candidate for 2028, in my opinion, has not yet been revealed. And that Wes Moore is saying it's not going to be him. But how many times have we heard that before? The Maryland governor. These Democrats do this all the time. They go, oh, no, I don't want to run. I have no interest in running. And next thing you know, they've changed their mind because there's nobody out there and they have to save their country and save democracy and everything else. So don't listen to that for a second if you think that that's actually like a real thing. But Pelosi, like all Democrats, particularly dead ones, and technically she's undead, but you get the point, being a vampire. She is very much against the SAVE Act. Okay, here's what she said regarding that.
On the elections, right, the president said that we will absolutely have voter ID, whether or not Congress gets on board or not. You have the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, going down and helping to execute a search warrant to grab 2020 ballots from Fulton County. They are, looking at, in Puerto Rico, looking at their machines. There seems to be a lot happening, but you are sure, and you are telling our allies, and I assume telling the American people, that there might be shenanigans, but we will have an election in 2026, because there are a lot of people that have a lot of concerns about that right now.
Oh, yes, and I hear that all over the United States, not just in Europe, and that there is concern about the election. Let me just say that surveillance by the intelligence operation of our country, surveillance in our own country, is something that is absolutely not to be allowed. Now, if there's some particular reason, there's one thing, but for Tulsi Gabbard to be looking into elections is really not right. It's not lawful. It's not right. But that doesn't seem to ever bother the president. But you know what? We don't agonize. We organize. And we have litigation. We have lawyering in addition to in the courts, but at polling places and the rest. We have legislation, and we're going to fight him on the SAVE Act for the voter ID. It's just not right. And there are many Republicans in the country who know it's not right because it's inconvenient for them as well as it is for married women in the country. If you don't have your birth name on your voter file, that's a problem. Well, we need no need to go into all of the problems with it except to say it's a problem. We're dealing with it. And the president, I'm really, people are concerned. Is he going to send in ICE and the National Guard, this, or that? Don't put anything past him.
Okay, all right. This is the drunk relative just at Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, just ranting about everything. I mean, then they're going to send in ICE agents, and I don't even get me started on the whole taking Greenland thing. And then they got Maduro, and they got and the drug boats. Don't get me started on the drug boats. Like, can you just take a freaking breath, okay? Take a breath, and then let's go to the other room actually and have a water in which you hydrate a little bit. Just a stream of consciousness of Trump tirades. But at the heart of this is another problem for Nancy Pelosi, which is that Democrats are opposing voter ID because they know that dead people vote for them, and they don't want to lose that key constituency of the dead. And as an undead person, she understands that completely. It's very, very important that you have that. But realize something, though. At one point, they were for ID checks on all kinds of things. And that was a clip of Chuck Schumer, who was the guy that came out and said, this is Jim Crow 2.0, which he's now, of course, now it's no longer Jim Crow 2.0. Now it's about women, and it's a secret plot to repeal the 19th Amendment. Well, a viral clip going around of Chuck Schumer in the 1990s demanding ID checks. Take a listen.
Let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a Social Security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a social security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. Over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud.
Okay. So have ID to get rid of the fraud. He also said illegal immigrants. This is just to show you how far the Democrat Party has turned and how everything they say is full of crap. That same guy is the guy calling this effort now to require proof of citizenship to vote in federal elections. He's calling that now Jim Crow 2.0 and a plot to overturn the 19th Amendment, and would never use the term illegal immigrant. But think about this. AOC and Gavin Newsom go on the world stage, trash the American people, trash the country, and the president reacted to the little adventures over there. And he slammed them and said, you know what? It's not a good look for America. Absolutely not. Here's what he said.
By the way, I watched AOC answering questions in Munich. This was not a good look for the United States. I watched Gavin Newsom answering questions in Munich, and this was a bad look for our country. These two people are incompetent. And at least Hillary's competent. She's just Trump deranged. She was so deranged. She is an angry woman. But I watched the other two speaking and answering basic questions. Look, Gavin has destroyed California. And AOC, I never heard her speak very much. And they started answering questions. She had no idea what was happening. She had no idea how to answer, very important questions concerning the world. But she can't answer questions concerning New York City either, because New York City is got some problems.
All right. I completely agree. I really do. In fact, I think AOC on the world stage was so detrimental, disastrous, beyond repair. I really do. I think beyond repair. There are moments in politics, because I know, a lot of people think politics is the art of the possible. You could fix anything. I think there are moments in politics that literally will destroy someone's candidacy. Now, you might have said that about Trump with other things. Trump is a unique American political figure. There's never going to be anyone like him again. There's never been anyone like him before. So leave him out of it. But for the mere mortals in politics who actually say things and it comes back to destroy them later on, what AOC said in answering the question regarding China and Taiwan, in my opinion, that's it. It's done. It's over. It was that bad. Beyond repair. Just to remind you what she said on the world stage, this is what she said.
To all of you, and Congressman, I'll start with you, would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is this is, of course, a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic...
We can stop it right there. So that first 20, 30 seconds at the beginning where she hems and haws, and it reminds, if you've ever broken up with somebody and you didn't know how to get the words out, and you're like, and then you immediately go, it's not you, it's me. Okay. I'm going through a lot, and it's not you. But before you get to that point of courage, you start with the, all right. Now, fast forward to, she's the general election candidate for the Democrats in 2028. And it's the 3 a.m. moment. It's that famous 3 a.m. The phone rings in the White House, and then they play that. They play that hemming and hawing and stammering. And we've just got word that China's invaded Taiwan. We've just got word that something happens. What does President AOC do about it? And then they play that.
I think that this is such a, I think that this is a
bad. Done. I'm telling you right now, it's done. You can't come back from that. And I said that this morning on America's Newsroom when I was on there, which is why I'm wearing a tie if you're watching on our YouTube channel. And please subscribe. Yes, thank you. Bill Hemmer and I have the same color on today. So did Kennedy, actually, as a matter of fact. We were all kind of bluing out. But please subscribe and like the page while you're here and hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, please take a moment to follow the show and make sure you get all the updates and the downloads. We'd appreciate it very, very much. If you are listening and not watching, you can head over to YouTube. Just put in my name, Rich Zeoli, and you'll find the show and then subscribe to it. But this is an irreparable moment for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And that is also the big story of the hour, brought to you by Dr. Mike Veneria, Veneria Dental. Go see him today for your perfect smile. VANARIA, VeneriaDental.com. 2 locations to serve you in Cinnaminson and Woodbury, VeneriaDental.com. But it won't even get to the point where she's going to be the general election nominee. Because, again, to go back to what I said earlier regarding Obama and the superdelegates and Gavin Newsom, they don't want her either. They don't want her either because she's a socialist, she's a kook, and they can't control her. And they're very nervous about an AOC presidency. So understand something. Understand that this just gives them added fuel to stop her candidacy. The spirit of the Democrat Party is with AOC right now. Because you might be thinking to yourself, Rich, come on, stop it. You're being way too hard here. She's charismatic. She's attractive. She's got all the things. The young people like her. She's good on social media. She's good. Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The superdelegates decide. The superdelegates are the one who make those determinations. And this just proves to them she's not ready for prime time. AOC is not ready for prime time. And they're looking for any excuse they can get. So to go back to Michael Corleone, our true enemy has not yet shown his face. The true candidate has not yet been revealed, but it won't be AOC and it won't be Gavin Newsom for those 2 reasons. His disastrous record and her disastrous answer on the world stage. It's over for the both of them. Now, as we continue along the show here today, and you wonder who might be that 2028 presidential nominee, it'll be a lot for us to talk about and unpack in the weeks to come. But I do know one thing, though. I do know it will not be either of them at this moment. Now, could something change? Possibly. But I don't see it. I really don't. Not at this moment in time. Definitely not. Let me tell you about our great friend and supporter and wonderful sponsor of this program. We are so grateful, so loyal, and that is, of course, our great friends at Tri-County Auto. Because at Tri-County Auto, they treat you like family. And right now, it's the time to get a great deal on a new truck or SUV at Tri-County Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Right now, during Ram Truck Month, lease a new 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn for $415 a month for 39 months. It's a President's Day sales event still going on. Lease a new 2025 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 for just $265 a month for 39 months. And for Toyota, Truck Month continues all month long at Tri-County Toyota. Now, we're going to be heading in there soon, the Zeoli family, to get the Toyota Grand Highlander. That is the new family car, and my wife's already excited about it with the captain's chairs and the 3rd row. Either way, Brian Krieger and his amazing team will take great care of you every step of the way. So go see them today. They're right off of 422 in Limerick, easy to get to from Jersey, Pennsylvania, Philly, everywhere you are, easy and worth the trip because they are our official car sponsor for the Zeoli Show and podcast. Tri-County Auto, tricounty.com. Hillary Clinton said that she's got nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, other than the fact that her husband flew on the flights. Other than the fact that her husband flew on the plane a few times. There's a couple Epstein points I want to make here. But I want to start with this clip from Hillary Clinton. Take a listen to this.
Do you regret the links that there have been? You know, we have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it to me is not something that is really at the heart of what this matter is about. They are accused, and in both cases were convicted of horrific crimes against girls and women. That should be the focus. And we are more than happy to say what we know, which is very limited and totally unrelated to their behavior or their crimes. And we want to do it in public because let's make this transparent.
There are calls for another individual who denies wrongdoing to go before Congress on this matter. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew. Do you think he should testify?
I think everybody should testify. Look,
including the former prince?
I think everybody should testify who is asked to testify. I just want it to be fair. I want everybody treated the same way. That's not true for my husband and me because other witnesses were asked to testify. They gave written statements under oath. We offered that. They want to pull us. Why do they want to pull us into this? To divert attention from President Trump. This is not complicated.
Let me tell you what this is really about, okay? What Hillary Clinton is saying here is they're laying a trap for Donald Trump. I don't think they're ever going to face any justice or any accountability whatsoever. But when the Democrats get back in control, they want to bring Donald Trump in. And since Donald Trump is not going to be president forever, at some point they want to bring Donald Trump in. I think the only reason why these two are agreeing to go, honestly, and if they do go, A, I'll be shocked, but if they do go, understand the only reason why is just to set a precedent whereby a former president has to go and testify before Congress. Because that's ultimately what they want. They still want to go in this direction. Now, this Epstein stuff is getting so nuts. It really is. It's getting so nuts and out of control. Even Bill Maher has issued an official apology to QAnon for the conspiracy theories that he used to mock and make fun of about rich and powerful people, sex trafficking children.
Having known this, I have to also do a mea culpa to QAnon. QAnon, okay? I'm big enough to say, QAnon, you are more right about this than I admitted or lots of other people admitted. QAnon, and see, I'm always trying to find the grand bargain. You know, like I'm always trying to put something on the table that says, okay, this is where I'm wrong, or so how about something from you? So I'm going to do that to this tonight again, QAnon. I'm going to say you were more right about this, but Democrats don't eat babies. Yeah.
Okay. Democrats don't eat babies is a cute way to divert from the fact that what he's trying to say here is that there were people in Washington who were facilitating kids with high, powerful people. Now, there's a really interesting theory from Tom Elliott, who's the guy behind Gravy, and that theory is that maybe it was Jeffrey Epstein himself who was behind Pizzagate, who was basically out there pushing this Pizzagate conspiracy theory because it sounded so crazy, it would divert attention away from him. One thing I do know, though, is that there was an interesting article that I read in the Wall Street Journal about this, and the Free Press about this, is that the Epstein fallout is spiraling out of control. And basically now it's getting to a place where anybody who had conversations with the guy, visited with the guy, had lunch with the guy, met with the guy, went to anything, even if they did nothing wrong, their entire career is being destroyed. And there's this kind of essentially now overreaction happening whereby people who've literally have been accused of no wrongdoing whatsoever are being completely canceled. You have to wonder if that was also part of what President Trump meant when he said the Epstein hoax, meaning that they were going to target powerful people who didn't do anything other than be around the guy and then destroy their lives completely, because that's kind of how Washington works. Keep an eye on that as the weeks come and more of these documents are combed through and we go through this. But while I was doing some research on that topic, I also read something really that kind of scares the hell out of me, and that is that the federal government is creating a gun registry database. I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but I want to play a clip for you. This is some protesters in Minnesota. Right now, we still have the anti-ICE protesters going on. At the very same time this is happening right now, you've got the House Oversight Committee is looking into the fraud in Minnesota. But I want to share this with you because these ICE agents go over to a woman in her car. And this woman starts harassing these guys and harassing these agents, and basically now starts going on and ripping into them. And they explain who they're there to look into. And I got to give these guys a lot of credit because they were very patient with her. They put her in her place, didn't shoot her, didn't kill her. I mean, I might have, honestly, I might have, if I was packing, that's why I'm not a cop, because I would have no self-control and no patience. I'd be like, oh yeah, all right, you're cute. Well, and then I'd wind up in prison. So probably why I made this choice and not that choice. But look at this interaction here.
I'll keep following you, okay?
Oh no, she doesn't care. It's like, no, come on. She doesn't care? She doesn't care. They never do.
How does it feel to be a race traitor?
You know, we were trying to get
race traitor,
a child molester, right?
No, you weren't.
Yes, we were.
How would you know?
Because it was a woman you talked to.
His wife.
And then his plate came back as murder.
Also, I was supposed to say, calling someone a race traitor.
But you guys don't care.
I hope you realize that is the most racist thing you can say as a
white
white woman.
Of course,
and
it is.
So you know, this isn't a good look for you.
You think I care about my look?
No, oh no, trust me.
When you guys
it is evident by how you look, you don't care. We get that, trust me. No, that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying this, trying to be a social warrior. If you actually cared, you probably would care about the child who got raped and also the person who got murdered by the person that we were looking for. But see, you don't care.
No, I don't care because you guys
try
to detain legal immigrants. None of you actually give a
Really?
If you were here to get illegal, violent immigrants off the street, that would be fine. That's not what you're doing.
It's not. No, hold on. It's okay. She
You
said
need to
it's
back
not.
up.
It's not.
That was, she posted that to TikTok. Her name is Olivia Jensen. And you can tell the guy's taking some shots at her looks by being like, oh, no, it's very obvious you don't care how you look. That's very obvious based on your appearance. But I give them credit. I really do. I give those agents credit for engaging with her. And you notice that they didn't haul her off to Gitmo. They didn't confiscate her phone. They didn't take the phone and smash it on the floor. They didn't do any of those things. They didn't just shoot her for asking questions. They had a back and forth and an exchange with her. Now, I'm glad she posted it, actually. I really am. I'm glad she posted it. I'm glad it's going viral. I'm glad the New York Post posted it.
Why did she post it, Rich? Does she think she looks good in this interaction? Does she go home and think, look at what a great job I did interacting with these ICE agents? Like, why did she not delete that the second she recorded it?
Because it makes the agents look good, you're saying?
I think it makes her look terrible. I don't think the agent. I think the agent's insult to her. You know, I guess maybe
about her looks.
Yeah, maybe she thinks that she really got him, but the whole thing doesn't look great for her. Why did she go home and post that? Why did she think?
I think
got him.
Because we live in this day and age now where people just want attention.
Leave it
at any cost. If you go viral and you get attention at any cost, it doesn't matter. Like, for example, this show, right? We've had great growth on this show. We've been doing this a month. We've had very steady growth on YouTube, on Instagram, all the platforms. Thank you for that. Across the podcast platforms. I'm not buying bots. I'm not buying viewers. I'm not buying subscribers. I'm not playing the little games and tricks that other people do. This is going to grow organically. Or it's not, and I'll do something else with my life. But the point, and I don't accept failure, as you know, so it will succeed. But my point is, I don't need wrong attention. I don't need bad attention. There are people like her, Jared, to answer your question. I think just the fact that this is viral and she's getting views on her TikTok page, probably for this woman, that's all she has going for her. Like, that's it. The fact that she confronted them, that's a win. That now that there's, she probably has millions of views on her TikTok page. It doesn't matter. It's like okay. Don't you think this is very similar to the people that are having the funeral for the chickens in Target? You don't see a parallel here?
Okay, first of all, Trader Joe's, okay?
Trader Joe's, thank you.
You can't have a Target chicken. That's ridiculous.
Oh, well, we have people protesting in Target. I'm confused. There's all kinds of crazy videos today.
When you call for the clip, you're like, hey, a social justice warrior clip. I'm like, I don't know which one, Rich. I'm going to need a little more information here, or you're not going to get the right clip.
All right, well, before we move on to the chicken people, why don't we play the people in Target, the social justice warriors in Target, back to the ICE thing again, where they're buying ICE to protest ICE, which makes no freaking sense. So there's a whole line of Target carts, people with literally one can of Morton's table salt. Some have sea salt, but for the most part, it looks like it is Morton's standard iodized or Target salt. And remember, not all salt contains iodine. Iodine is a necessary nutrient. I feel like I need to say that, Jared, as part of an FCC disclaimer.
Yep.
Yeah. Iodine, whatever it is.
Yeah, it prevents goiter.
Yeah.
That's what I know. Yeah, I mean the sea salt.
Yeah.
Listen, you're not getting the iodine. Sea salt's a cute salt, but go with the trusted.
Listen, the other thing too is I thought you can't use sea salt anymore because of the microplastics. We went through a microplastics panic, and they said don't use sea salt because of all the plastics. Now I'm being told the microplastic thing, like every other thing, overblown. Don't worry about it.
There's actually, honestly, not a joke. Liberals have like an app where they can scan things and it tells you if you can buy it or not. If you need an app, if you can buy food, you are too down the rabbit hole, my friend. too far down.
And Jared, wouldn't the very definition of privilege be having the ability to look on an app to buy food? Like, isn't there some poor kid in Asia right now who's like, I'm just looking at that rice, wishing I could buy it. I'm not going on my app. I mean, that'd be nice if I had a phone, but yeah, I'm adding that for context there. That might also mean you have a little bit of maybe elitist privilege when you're like, well, All right, so then we did the ICE people. Okay, now can we do the chicken people, please? There's a funeral being held in Trader Joe's.
Here today to mourn the untimely death of the chickens whose bodies are here behind us.
The dead chickens.
Who were slaughtered at Purdue's Petaluma Poultry Slaughterhouse. We are here to honor their lives because no one else is.
There's a guy doing some sort of a prayer thing in all black. I don't know if he's praying. He looks like a Buddhist. Might be a Buddhist thing. He's banging a drum. And they're having a full-on funeral in the middle of Trader Joe's. What's the most shocking thing about that video, in your opinion, Jared?
I don't know if it's shocking. I love that they have the sad music that you're going to get, pinched on from YouTube for playing over the top of the sound of the Trader Joe's, you can hear the beat from the Trader Joe's music.
We are here to honor their lives.
It's a lot
so
going
if you're
on.
watching,
There's a lot going on.
If you're watching later after the live show and we don't hear any music, that's what we're talking about. The music that we had to take out because of a copyright violation. It's that.
That's what's
If you're like, what music are these two talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
It just comes off as silent for a lot of people. But yeah, there's sappy music. There's a woman talking over sappy music over the sound of the Trader Joe's beaded music. And it's quite a cacophony.
Yeah. But that's not the most surprising thing about this to me. What surprises me, and if people are watching on YouTube, they can see this, not a single one of these people is wearing a mask. I lost that bet. I would have 100% said that the people doing the chicken funeral in Trader Joe's were wearing masks. Wouldn't you?
You know what? I'm rewatching it just to see if I missed one, but I think I don't see any.
I don't see any either.
Not safe.
My wife and I took Claire to see Beauty and the Beast the other day at the Academy of Music in Philadelphia. People still rocking the masks. It's 2026.
We failed.
And, I'm not going to tell you what my wife said, but just what I said to her is, honey, the sign at the bar says they have Buffalo Trace. I don't believe it because it's very hard to find. I'm going to go find out. Rather than confront these people about wearing their masks, I'm going to go find out. You think they had the Buffalo Trace, Jared?
Ooh, at the Academy of Music? I'm going to vote yeah. I'm going to say yes. No.
Crushing disappointment.
Sorry.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress. The point is this. Yes, there are crazy people out there. And now I want some fried chicken. But the other crazy point is that beyond all the protests that are happening, whether it is Minnesota, whether it's people buying ice, there's an actual congressional investigation going on regarding fraud in Minnesota. And a very smart congressman asking a lot of questions about that. His name is Brandon Gill. I'm going to play that for you in just a second because he is, I think, one of the sharpest guys out there. He does his homework, he does his research, and that's why he's doing a great job at these hearings. But first, I want to tell you about Dr. Mike Veneria, my friend and dentist. And for 12 years in a row, other dentists have sent their patients to Dr. Mike Veneria because he's the best of the best. And they don't do that unless he continuously performs for them and make sure he's given world-class dental care. And for Dr. Mike Veneria, it is about care and compassion. It is not about cost. And that's why he's my family's dentist, the official family dentist for the Zeolis. And Mama Zeoli first discovered him. Now, he specializes in dental implants. That's why you should call him today if you need one. Get a free implant consultation. All you got to do is go to veneriadental.com. VANARIA, veneriadental.com. You'll find just like so many other people have found. He's a great guy with great people, great music playing in the office. Gave Bridget a beautiful smile makeover last year. She did not need a more beautiful smile. It's already beautiful, but she did need to get her veneers replaced, and he upgraded her with beautiful caps. My wife has never been happier. You deserve a beautiful smile, so make sure you go see the guy who the other guys send their patients to and who they go to, because who doctors and dentists choose for their dental care also matters. That's Dr. Mike Veneria, veneriadental.com. Congressman Brendan Gill is crushing it. So don't let these crazy protests distract you from the fact that, yeah, you know what? There is an actual investigation going on about all the Somali fraud that's happening in Minnesota. Take a listen.
Mr. Balu, again, thank you for being here. Let me ask you, does large-scale Somali immigration make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Certainly stronger.
Certainly stronger. Do you know what percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on food stamps?
No.
54%. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Well, to be clear, a majority of the...
It's 7%. There's a big difference between 54% and 7%, is there not?
Excuse me, sir, could I answer the question?
Let me move on. We've got a lot of questions here. What percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on Medicaid?
I don't know.
It's 73%. Do you know what that number is for Minnesota native households?
Again, you're using the phrase Minnesota native households, but the majority...
The number is 18%. That's quite an astounding difference. I think we would agree.
Can I answer the question, please?
Let me ask you one more, and then we can go on to that. What percentage of Somali-headed households are on welfare in general?
I don't know.
It's 81%. What about, let me just ask you, after 10 years of being in the United States, what percentage of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare?
I don't know.
The number is 78%. So even after 10 years, 78% of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Again, you're using
non-Somali immigrant-headed households.
If I can just answer the question, when you're using the phrase native Minnesotans, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are as Minnesotan as any of us. They were born in the United States. It's only 8,000 of the 108,000 Somali.
And nevertheless, the welfare usage is astoundingly different. Let me ask you again, does that make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Again, I'd like the opportunity to answer the question here.
Go for it.
Again, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are born in the United States, as I understand it.
Okay, well, what percentage of working-age Somalians who have been in the U.S. for 10 years or more, how many of them speak English very well?
I don't know.
About half. The answer is about half. That seems pretty low, doesn't it?
Again,
and it's the problem that conservatives like me have with all these welfare programs is that there's no incentive for people to get off them, and that they attract fraud. And in the case of Minnesota, tourism fraud. But look, I don't want to ignore another story for you because it's very important. Federal law bans the creation of a gun registry. Regulators made one anyway. Now, as you know, I'm a big fan of the Second Amendment. I go to Bob's Little Sports Shop. I just got 2 new guns recently, and I'm a big believer in the Second Amendment. It has been illegal since 1986 for the federal government to establish a national firearms registry. As you might expect, according to Reason.com, the sort of people who gravitate to government employment, the bureaucrats at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, enabled by Biden-era policy changes, have taken that as a challenge. Now members of Congress want answers from the federal gun cops about a vast gun registry database that could threaten the liberty and privacy of firearm owners, and they have been stonewalled so far. On February 3rd, Michael Cloud of Texas and 26 other members wrote to the ATF asking about the status of a year-old query. By the way, that guy, Brendan Gill, is one of them, that the regulatory agency has ignored. The original letter inquired about the ATF's collection of Form 4473 firearms transaction records, which are filled out in the course of every firearm sale by a licensed dealer from gun vendors that have gone out of business. These records have accumulated and turned into a gun registry in waiting. From the letter, we fear that the ATF could have as many as 1.1 billion gun registration records in its database if ATF has continued with this historic pace and digitized an average of 50 million firearm transactions per year. The members of Congress reminded the ATF in a recent letter that this is a violation of the federal prohibition on gun registration in the United States. The source of concern for the 27 members of Congress is not only the de facto registry, though that's disturbing enough, as Reason points out, but that it's seemingly been created in defiance of a specific prohibition passed by Congress, the Firearm Owners Protection Act, which became law in 1986, signed by President Reagan, which says no such rule or regulation prescribed after the date of registration of firearms, firearms owners, or firearms transactions or dispositions shall be established. However, the law also contained the seeds of mischief by requiring gun dealers to maintain sales records that, if they go out of business, must be surrendered to the government. So the ATF has built on a Biden-era policy change where they once again used executive authority to make a tiny little change, and they've digitized now 50 million out-of-business records in just 1 year alone. The figure wasn't advertised by the Biden administration. It was done by the Gun Owners of America, who gained access to these documents, and they are now looking at the fact that the regulatory agency has processed 55 million out-of-business records, mostly paper, but some submitted in increasingly common digital format. And the ATF is basically ignoring Congress at this point, which is also frustrating because the Trump administration is in charge of the ATF. So what the Trump administration needs to do is call the director of the ATF and say, what is happening here? Cut the crap, get to the bottom of this, and destroy this Biden-era gun registry because it's completely illegal and it is antithetical to what Congress passed. Because advocates of self-defense and of gun ownership in general oppose a gun registry as they fear that it could lead to a gun confiscation, as politicians like people like Kamala Harris and others, Gavin Newsom and others, have threatened. That's why they push to make a registry illegal and a searchable database of gun sales that has had the search function for names temporarily disabled is a gun registry waiting to be activated. The fact that it has been built at all shows a bureaucracy chomping at the bit to escape restrictions on its power. Only saving grace here is government incompetence, but Congress needs to get to the bottom of this ASAP and end it, and the Trump administration needs to kill it for good once and for all, and now you know. Before I get out of here, we have done a bit on the show where we have had Where's the Crazy White Woman At? We played a couple of them for you today. Today I'd like to do something different. I'd like to close the show with the Where's the Italian Woman At? Because I think it's helpful, Jared, if we help people learn the beautiful Italian language. Native to my people, of course. So here you go.
Ciao ragazzi, la frase italiana del giorno è, the Italian phrase of the day is, non rompere le palle, don't bust my balls. Don't bust my balls. Non rompere le palle. Non rompere le palle, don't bust my balls. That's it for the day. Buona giornata a tutti.
Now, Jared, I have no idea if that woman's attractive or not. I was not watching. Yeah, I had to look away for a second and do a technical thing with but if people are streaming on YouTube, they may comment on. I just thought it'd be helpful to share a language tip in case people are traveling. So I guess the question though is, would people like to hear more of her? Would we like more Italian language tips? I guess it's really just the only question. this shameless attention ratings scam.
So now that
sham.
I'm very busy,
right?
You know, with what I do on my side. So
yes,
I should let me put it up. Let's see. Maybe I'll see if she's attractive. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I mean, yeah.
It's not my. I mean, it's not my.
Yeah.
That's not my. That's not my thing. It's not.
Obviously.
It's not. You know. But I mean, some. I guess. I mean, some people might find her to be attractive.
Looks like she works out, right? You know, good for her.
It's maybe. You know, possibly. I don't. You know, but.
Well then, Rich, what was the phrase she wanted you to learn? Let's see how well you retained.
Oh, we're out of time. It was, I believe, ciao, arrivederci. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Please hit that subscribe and like button. And we're back tomorrow. In the meantime, have a great day. And don't forget fighting for freedom and liberty and learning Italian.